Hello again, and welcome to the second tip in my 5-part mini-series on the power of niching. And in this video, I want to give you some kind of fun Palm Beach examples of niches that just make me roll my eyes. But it could also give you some great ideas on how to create a niche in your marketplace that really rings some bells. So it's always helpful to give some examples of niches. And before I get into the two I want to, I'm sorry, they're just too funny. The two that I want to share, go on Google and type in like unusual niche businesses or uncommon niche, whatever just different micro niche businesses. And, some sites are kind of more common, like whatever, they'll show the main brands, but they'll also have some cool sites. Like I found a bunch of really neat ones that show examples of really niche businesses. And some of them have combinations of products to create a new product. Some of them are just like super specialty in one area that's like somebody's a fanatic in. And then they are, just blowing this out. And a lot of them are actually using branding to create the niche, which I think is fascinating. People want to be associated with a certain brand that makes them feel identified or gotten or understood. And that's another aspect of personal branding and niching that is really powerful. But I'll get to that in tip 5. So I live in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, which is in the southeast part of Florida, probably about an hour north of Fort Lauderdale and maybe a little closer to 2 hours north of Miami. And it's a very, very affluent area. And I moved down here a couple years ago from Orlando, where I lived for almost 30 years. And I came down here for a lot of different reasons. Be closer to the ocean. I'm a water girl. I love the water and the breeze and it's just beautiful down here if you've ever been. And so because it's such an affluent area, there's a lot of snowbirds that come down from the Northeast that have winter homes here. And the wealth is, it's really amazing. The giant yachts you see, just literally from here on down through Miami, there's this uber wealth. And you see these big yachts, you see these mega McMansions. The cars, oh my gosh, it's not uncommon to see Ferraris and Aston Martins and Rolls Royces. And it's sometimes it's jaw-dropping because they'll be like this, little 90-year-old guy driving this giant Rolls Royce and you're like, oh my gosh, is he okay? So it's very entertaining from those perspectives. But what the affluence has also brought is a desire for concierge, high-ticket experiences. And so we have the spas, we have the very expensive restaurants, it goes on and on and on. And one day I was out for a walk, and in my neighborhood, nothing fancy. And I noticed that there was actually I've seen this quite a few times, and I'm not in a super affluent neighborhood, believe me. No, it's not. But what blew my mind was I kept seeing these very niche service businesses serving my neighbors in the neighborhood. And one of them that I was like, oh my gosh, what a great idea, was, how you have your gas grill. You may or may not have a gas grill, but when you have a gas grill, you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you buy your gas grill and you have to get your propane tank. And then it's when you first put it all together, it's it's so pretty, it's clean, it's shiny. And then it will never be like that again, right? You start throwing burgers on there or fish or ribs or whatever it is you're cooking on the darn thing. And it gets loaded with grease and grime and splatter. And it's just a mess, and it starts to smell. I know, because I just had to move my grill from my balcony porch down to my garage because the fire marshal said you can't have grills on your balcony. And I'm like, okay, so I'm dragging this thing down the stairs and I had grease everywhere. I had it all over. It was all up my arms. And of course I chose to move this thing from upstairs with white shorts on. A smart move. But, I just got a wild hair. I had to get it down. So it made me remember this story and I wanted to share it with you. So I'm walking through the neighborhood. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Allergy season. Sorry about that. So I'm walking through the neighborhood and I see this, I can't remember if it was a minivan or a truck. It was commercial. And it had a little trailer, and the trailer was, just kind of like a little box trailer. But it was beautifully decaled. Had this really nice vinyl decal on it. And it, you'll never believe this, but it was portable grill cleaning service. So what this guy or gal did, I didn't go up and talk to them, but after bringing that thing down to my garage, I'm ready to call them and say, please come, because now it's making my garage smell. And I'm a neat person, basically. But anyway, they will come, you pick up the phone, call them up. They come to your house, they bring all their supplies, and they'll drag your grill out from wherever it is, even if it's on the second floor porch, and they'll literally make the thing look brand new. It won't smell anymore. It'll be shiny. It'll be disinfected. It'll be primed. They'll check all the, the cables to the, the propane tank, make sure it's safe, it's working, all the knobs are turning, and, that nothing's rusted on it, and they do an amazing job. It's like literally you go and buy a brand new grill. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a niche business. But see, here's the thing. That type of business, may not fly in certain markets because that is considered a luxury. When you're being offered a service that is taking place of something that you feel is an inconvenience, which there's a lot of services out there that do. I mean, look at all the grocery delivery we have now. It's like so common to just go on Instacart, order your stuff, and they bring it to your door. It's like, hello, and it's so cheap to do it. So these types of services that kind of offload these inconveniences are a nice to have, not a need to have. Like I remember when the first time I used Instacart, I had food poisoning and I was just flat out and I had no food in the house that was the right kind of food to help you kind of come back from food poisoning, like the gentle stuff, like the soups and the crackers and things like that. And so I went on it. I just could not go out. I had no energy. I felt like crap. And I went on Instacart and I ordered it. But I actually, my grocery store is really close. It's not an inconvenience for me to go there. But that particular time it was. So getting back to the grill thing, here's somebody who said, you know what? People hate cleaning grills. It's messy, it's dirty, they would rather throw them out and buy a new one than clean them. So here's an opportunity for me to niche down and serve a demand in the marketplace. And that demand in the marketplace, I've seen this guy like 4 times in my neighborhood. So it's like one neighbor sees him and then calls him up, and then another. That's why he's got all those decals on the outside of his vehicle. And it's just an amazing service. Now, like I said, if it was in a different type of market where it was, maybe not as affluent or a lot of that disposable income where people were more prone to like, yes, do this for me, do that for me, do this for me, where they could just basically sit back and eat bonbons. I don't know. That's just so stereotypical. But then here's another example. And this I saw just this morning as I was coming back from getting gas. I was on I-95 heading north. And I saw a box truck, and on the back of it, it said baby and guest equipment rental. And I'm like, baby and guest. I had to kind of read it a couple times to like kind of make sense in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what an amazing niche service. And so in this part of Florida, all the people who live here, even if they just snowbird, they love to entertain their family, friends, whatever, from up north during the winter season. And that's why it gets crazy, like overpopulated down here. And us locals who live here full time, it drives us crazy. And I'm like, that's perfect, because for people who don't, who want to invite the family in, but they don't have all that stuff, like a crib for the baby or high chair or car seat or all that stuff, then they can actually rent it for those people that are visiting. And if they don't have babies, then they're guests. So they may, need extra bedding or who knows what they need. But I thought that was an amazing niche business, but it was really catering to this market. So when you think about your niche and niching down, if you want to look at your geography as one of the characteristics or aspects of your niche that you want to bring in, think of those things. Think of the things that are happening in your region that actually, people are dealing with and people need. And then find that, and I could really get into that. Remember, it's a match of skill set, what lights you up, as well as what the marketplace is asking for. So thanks for indulging me in my stories and my sneezes. And go and explore what it is about your region that you could be niching and creating a really unique product.